Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined, as always, by the man who has been practicing his Zen and feels a great sense of serenity. It's Greg. How are you today, Greg?
I'm fine. Because of the miracle of technology, our listeners probably think that it's been 2 weeks since the last time we recorded an episode, but actually, it's been about a month because we banked some and we had a holiday.
Yeah, I think I did mention on the last episode, young Adam, that we were banking some.
Right, you did
because you had a little holiday, and we said that we were going to be meeting it up in Amsterdam, and we did. We met up and had a lovely evening out for dinner, and then a lovely afternoon together.
Smashing smashing pints next to the canals, watching the world go by and putting it to rights. Very pleasant afternoon.
Yeah, it was lovely. So it's been like a month since we've recorded. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll be
just trying to remember how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was. That's exactly the words I was looking for, and I'm stumbling on them even then. Like when I was setting up and stuff, and I'm trying, I tested a little bit of recording, and I'm like, that sounds a bit shit. Is it always sounded like that? I don't know. It's been so long since I've done it. But yeah, because we banked 3 in a week. It's taken a bit of time. But yeah, so you had a lovely time in Scotland, did you?
I did. The UCI cycling was on, to the delight of some, to the annoyance of others, because it involved closing quite a lot of streets in the city centre. But we saw a little bit of cycling, which if that's your thing, then it was very interesting. They go really fast, those guys on their bikes. Just really back in my own house, went through the loft, found some old photographs of us in our youth on a trip to Glasgow that you and our mutual friend made, and our other mutual friend. and we documented the adventures thereof. Back. It was nice being there, nice getting round Glasgow. The most surprising thing, and I think I mentioned this to you when I saw you, but there's a very famous pub beside Queen Street Station called Sammy Dow's. Been there certainly for as long as I can remember. I think Irvin Welsh might even mention it in Trainspotting in the chapter when Tommy comes through to Glasgow for Iggy Pop, and it's a bit of an old man's pub, despite the fact that it's also a bit of an institution, over 18s only, obviously. So my cousin and I were in there having a couple of pints one Saturday waiting for the train, and I went to relieve myself in the gents and was surprised to find a baby changing table in the gents' toilet.
That's incredible.
Judging by some of the characters that were in there, I suspect that probably flat surfaces were required, but I'm sure that's not why it's there.
There hasn't been such a scandal since the Grill installed a ladies' toilet in Aberdeen. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I remember Sammy Dow's. I've been there a couple of times. I remember one time, I can't even remember why I was in Glasgow. Must have been for something. And I think I had maybe an hour or two before my train, and I'd done kind of everything else I could do. So I think I remember going to the train station, getting a copy of Viz, and then going to Sammy Dow's and just sitting having a couple of pints and reading Viz and chuckling away at myself. Probably. Was it? Probably. Luckily, I made that out alive. Actually,
was it maybe that time when you were working at Revolution in Aberdeen, and I think they were sort of courting you, perhaps, as a potential manager, not realising that, of course, you had zero interest in that. But I remember you coming down to Glasgow. I remember one of the managers asking you to come down to Glasgow with her because she was coming down for a meeting or something like that. Because obviously, Revolution being a kind of UK chain of pubs, and I believe it still is. And I think you just came down and just had just sort of tooled about in the city centre for the day, going to pubs and stuff, having a look in the shops, and then came back up with her afterwards.
I think that's probably exactly what it was. Now I think about it, because if I was there on my own, then it must have been. Yeah. I remember I think got sent to Manchester one time as well. Me and this other guy, Will, that worked with at Revolution, and again it was because they were kind of courting us to be managers, and I got fucking hammered that on the evening, and I remember the next day we were literally halfway through the training. And Will and I were like, I can't be fucking arsed for this. Like, let's just say our train is earlier than it actually is. Because we've got to go all the way back up to Aberdeen. They're not going to have a fucking clue. So literally about lunchtime, we did say to the guy, oh, we're going to have to leave in like an hour because our train. And he was like, what? Well, what's the point of you coming all down here? Like, we're like, well, sorry, it was just that it was the train that was booked. And it's like, oh, well, you know, it's not great, but okay, fair enough. Nothing we can do. And then we just went to the pub for about 3 hours and then went to Burger King and then got the train like 5 hours later. Just couldn't be arsed.
Oh dear, yeah.
Anyway, never mind. But yes, Sally Dow's, wonderful. Yeah, baby changing table. That's impressive. Well, hey, it's you know, the amazing things that you see in pub toilets nowadays. Like we spoke on. I can't even remember if it was the last episode or the episode before because we recorded them in quick succession and edited them. When I was speaking about buying blow-up sheet in in the gents' toilets. So yeah, funny things that you see in pub toilets nowadays.
Indeed.
Amazing.
Indeed. Anyway, it's it's been a few weeks since we've galloped through the murky depths of the Scottish news. Shall we have a look?
Cue the jingle.
Cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg. What have you seen in the last few weeks, for the last month or so, around Scotland that has caught your eye and you'd like to share with me and our lovely listeners?
Well, this one is from a couple of weeks ago, the 16th of August. It's from the Scottish Sun. The headline reads, Rocket Man, Elton John tribute singer and magician caught with £100,000 worth of cocaine in the boot of his car. Perhaps taking the tribute act a bit too far there, Colin. So this is Colin Lowe, 57, from Hamilton. He told jurors that he had no idea there was a kilo of cocaine stashed away in one of his stage lights. He was stopped on the A34 in Oxfordshire on February the 13th. Jurors heard how in another set of wrappings in the back of his Mercedes was 992 grams of benzocaine, a substance used as a cutting agent for the Class A drug. Lowe, who goes by the stage name Hamilton John, in a nod to his hometown, claimed he was completely unaware he was heading south with cocaine worth about £25,000 on the wholesale market and £100,000 on the street. He was on his way from Scotland to Bournemouth, where his son lives, in order to sing a number of gigs over Valentine's week, because apparently Valentine's Day is now a week. Lowe, who spent a month on remand at His Majesty's Prison, Bullingdon, was bailed after an ex-SFA referee, Mike McCurry, a church minister and a fellow member of the Magic Circle in Scotland, posted a £30,000 security with the court. Lowe claimed to have told an acquaintance, Charlie, whose surname he did not know and who he knew by the nickname Chooks, about his trip. He claimed that the man asked him to take some cigarettes in the car when he drove south and offered to pay £200 towards the fuel. Lowe agreed that the man could put the cigarettes in a storage box he had with him at the social club. Because I was working, he arranged to go to the studio in his garden and put the cigarettes in the box, said Colin. The studio was unlocked, he told the jury. He accepted not telling the police about Chooks or the cigarettes on his arrest, telling the court that he was concerned about his repercussions. The alleged drug runner was asked by his barrister, Nick Robinson, did you put these items in that night? Did you know they were there? Did you know that there was cocaine and benzocaine in your vehicle? Did you agree to take Class A drugs to Bournemouth from Scotland to England? To each question, Colin said no. Mr. Robinson said, we live in a sceptical world, Mr. Lowe. Why should the jury accept your account? And Colin said, because it's the truth. Cross-examining the defendant, prosecutor David Parvin accused the part-time magician of making up his defence. Lowe said he had answered no comment to questions put to him by the police in interview on the advice of his solicitor. Mr. McCurry described his magician colleague and member of his congregation as well liked.
This is fucking magician colleague. I'm sorry.
I mean, He was certainly good at sort of magicking up some free kicks and penalties for the old firm in his days as a referee, as I recall.
He did plenty of card tricks as well, with dishing out red cards against Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Fucking cunt.
So Mr. McCurry described his magician colleague and member of his congregation as well liked and highly respected, albeit sometimes a little bit too naive or too trusting. Asked why he posted a £30,000 security with the court, Mr. McCurry said simply, "I believe him." So Lowe denies possession with intent to supply Class A drugs, and the trial continues. So I think if he's found guilty, it's going to be a long, long time before he gets out of prison.
Yeah. I mean, he should just confess. I mean, to be fair, sorry does seem to be the hardest word.
Yeah, indeed.
And it is quite a sacrifice, but you'll still be standing. And
maybe he'll meet a nice cellmate called Daniel.
Possibly. Who's maybe a tiny dancer and could maybe form a band or something,
Indeed.
Benny and the Jets. Yeah, what a fucking, literally a rocket man. So he didn't realise he had, sorry, how much cocaine was in this stage light?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, Nicky. If you're looking at a wholesale value for a quick sale, £25,000. But if you want to take it out on the street, 100 grand's worth all day long.
And I think you're prosecuted by the street value, aren't you? Like
I believe so.
The kind of the police
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Take a view on that, yes. Inflation on that. That's a bit unfair, maybe, because maybe he was going to sell it wholesale. You never know. Jesus. So this is wonderful. So what's his name? Hamilton John.
His real name is Colin Lowe, but his stage name is Hamilton John, in tribute to where he comes from.
I see. Yeah, that doesn't really work though, does it? No. Hamilton John.
No.
Like Elton John, Hamilton John. I don't know. Maybe it's not the best. Have you? What's your favourite kind of tribute band name? Or have you seen any?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the ones that are really good tend to have good. They tend to have pretty good names, don't they? They have. There's the Complete Stone Roses. There is the Billy Shears band, the Beatles tribute band. There's the Bootleg Beatles as well. So I mean, there have been a couple. Oh, I tell you the best one. I was trying to think of it there. So when I worked at the Hard Rock Cafe, I think I mentioned this in the podcast before, we had the Scottish Alice Cooper tribute band, and the singer's name was Gallus Cooper. That's what they called themselves.
That's good. I like that. I like that.
What about you?
I do like that. Well, I've seen No Oasis, which I always thought was quite good. But I think my favourite one I've ever seen is it's a rather overweight gentleman who is a Robbie Williams tribute act, and he calls himself Blobby Williams.
Any good?
Or is I've no idea. I haven't seen him. But there's a Take That tribute band called Fake That.
Oh yeah,
which it's always good. And then there's a Faith No More tribute band called Fake No More, which it's always good coming up with puns. But Hamilton John doesn't really work. No. So I guess so he's going to be sent away for a little while. I guess that's why they call it the blues. Yeah, for a long, long time.
Anyway,
his cellmate will be asking if are you ready for love?
If he ends up in a Fraggle wing. Anyway, that sold Hamilton John or Colin Lowe. If I'll try and find out if the jury believed him or not, and I'll update on the next episode. But that's my first story this week. What's your first story for the pod?
My first story is from the Scottish Sun, and it's from last week, a couple of weeks ago, the 15th of August. A mum has blasted Sky Sports News after the popular TV channel aired a sexual advert while her young son was watching. Leanne Orr was stunned when she noticed Football Mad Max, I like what they've done there, 9, being subjected to a commercial for Cialis, a drug for erectile dysfunction. The ad, broadcast before 10 a.m, featured a couple in a passionate clinch and seemingly getting undressed to head to the bedroom. Taking to TikTok, Leanne called on advertising watchdogs to take action. She said, "It's a Sunday morning and the kids are off school." Well, I'd hope so on a Sunday. I don't know what you're doing if you're sending your fucking kids to school on a Sunday. "Loads of kids love football. So can I ask, why the fuck is this advert playing at 9:50 a.m? I'm really annoyed. There's so much red tape on adverts. Do you notice there aren't any sweetie adverts on telly anymore? You're not allowed to advertise things because they're high in sugar, high in salt, and all the rest of it, but you can have that on at 10 in the fucking morning. 10 in the fucking morning when there's Wayne's watching. Who's passing this stuff? What is going on in the world?" In the caption, she added, "I get it's a news channel, but you need to sort out the adverts during the day. Protect our kids' innocence." A spokesman for the Advertising Standards Authority said, "We can't comment on whether this ad was inappropriately scheduled without going through our internal processes, blah, blah, blah. Broadcast ads are pre-cleared and given appropriate timing with clear scheduling restrictions. Our rules state that care must be taken when scheduling ads that might be unsuitable for children." So she is very upset that there was an advert for Cialis on. Cialis, I know you sponsor a lot of podcasts, so if you want to get in touch, we're more than happy to take your money if you don't want to advertise in Sky Sports anymore. But how would you feel about that? As a father, how would you feel about that inappropriate advert like at 10 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I know you haven't seen the ad. There are an image, and there is a couple obviously getting a little bit randy, but they're not getting undressed as such. You know, they're not going to win any Ewan McGregor awards for this. So, you know, it's nothing too bad. But, you know, 9 years old, do you really know?
I mean,
what that is about?
Erectile dysfunction can hit at all ages, Nicky. You know, it's not just.
I didn't mean he was wanting to purchase Cialis. I meant, is he going to know what's going on? You know what I mean? Like in terms of, is he going to be understanding this?
I think what's more important here is the likelihood of a 9-year-old paying any attention to Sky News when it's on is incredibly low, right? Fuck.
But it's Sky Sports News because he is a football fan.
Oh, I see.
So
he was watching
football.
I think you did say that. Yeah. You did say that. I think it's fine, isn't it? I think kids are older now than they were when we were that age. I mean, I can't imagine I think if there was an advert on for something like that when I was younger, I would be waiting for that advert to come on with my thumb poised over the record button, especially if there was any sort of sexiness about the advert, you know, like attractive lady, perhaps, or whatever. I'd have been poised, ready to record it with.
So we're thinking the Cadbury's Flake advert, probably.
Yep.
Maybe Turkish Delight.
Yep.
As well.
Pear's soap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good one, yeah.
Timothy shampoo.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, she was lovely, yeah. Caramel Bunny, if you were into that. I mean, but then once you find out that it's voiced by Miriam Margolyes, it loses its attraction.
Yeah, I mean...
Not just because it's a cartoon.
The thing is, like, when you're that age and like your body is just 99% of the time vibrating with hormones, it's sort of any port in a storm, isn't it? Really, you know? Yeah,
not at 9 though, man. Come on, surely if you were tossing the caber at 9, then that's
no, I wasn't.
It's quite impressive.
I wasn't. I definitely wasn't doing that, but I do remember feeling like intense attraction to like people on the telly, like most of the girls on Neighbours, sort of from like 1988 to I don't know until it was cancelled last year. What else?
It's coming back.
Yeah. Apparently, Kylie Minogue's really annoyed because she only agreed to do a cameo because they assured her that under no circumstances was it ever coming back. And then less than a year later, it's come back.
What was the kind of first memory you maybe have of a female you were attracted to? If I can ask that question.
Cheryl Baker from Bucks Fizz. Well, in fact, both of the girls on Bucks Fizz. Yeah, I used to have a thing about like attractive women with their socks and shoes off. I mean, it's probably never really gone away, if I'm being quite honest. But
so what you're saying you got a foot fetish?
No, it's not quite, not a full on foot fetish, not like a full blown. But I remember there's a music video for one of the Fizz's songs where there's a sort of animated guy made of stars. So and the girls are in their pajamas and stuff like that, and Kate Bush as well. to find her quite...
Fucking pervert.
What about you? April O'Neil?
I think I mentioned... Sorry?
April O'Neil.
April O'Neil. Yeah, she stirred my loins a bit. I honestly, the first kind of I really remember finding, how could I say this? Like, confusing. Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of like, oh, what's this feel? Do I feel this way? It was Vicks from We've Got a Fuzz Box and We're Going to Use It.
I don't remember that. What was that?
Fuzzbox, the band.
Right.
Pink Sunshine.
Yes, sorry, yeah. I was like trying to think of a TV show there.
No, the band Fuzzbox. Right. I mean, yeah, their name was We've Got a Fuzzbox and We're Going to Use It, but it was shortened to Fuzzbox. But yeah, I remember really fancying Vicks for some reason. And I would say Belinda Carlisle.
Oh, yeah.
As well. So I guess, strangely, I don't know about a thing for redheads, I guess. Not really. And April O'Neil as well.
What about Carol Decker from T'Pau? The redhead bunch of?
Yeah. Carol Decker was, she was up my street as well. Yeah, I liked, Carol Decker, yeah.
And this nice. Scottish lady from Fairground Attraction, whose name has completely escaped me.
Eddie Reader.
That's it, yeah, of course.
She's a bit older though, wasn't she? I don't think I was into MILFs when I was that young.
No, perhaps not.
Anyway, okay, so what else have you seen this week, Craig?
Well, I'm just going to this isn't the story. Well, this is a story, but it's not the story I'm going to do. Just so everyone knows, the Iron Brew workers are on strike, so you might want to start stockpiling. Obviously not you because you're in Amsterdam, and not me because we're both men of a certain age, and guzzling can after can of Iron Brew isn't going to help either of us. But if you're younger and you've got the metabolism for it, and you want to start stocking up. Now, my next story is another. Well, I've done a couple of Loch Ness Monster stories over the years, but this one just made me laugh out loud, and I thought it's got to come back. I've got to talk about it again. So the headline is Shock Ness. Urgent warning, as extensive Loch Ness Monster search could stir up a whirlpool of evil. So this is the warning by leading paranormal investigator Ron Halliday. He fears that plans to flush out the elusive beast with drones, infrared cameras, and underwater sound detectors will lead to spirits being unleashed. Organisers are calling the 2-day operation the biggest search for the Loch Ness Monster in more than 50 years. But Mr. Halliday, who has been investigating the paranormal for 30 years, said, "I suggest this project be called off, or at the very least there's some psychic protection for anyone involved. I was concerned to read about plans for a massive search for the Loch Ness Monster. I'm not convinced this search is a good idea. We could be stirring up a whirlpool of evil." An army of volunteers is also set to watch the loch from a safe vantage points on land surrounding Loch Ness on August the 27th and the 28th, which is today and tomorrow. They have been warned to stay vigilant and bring binoculars and cameras to gather evidence. The effort is being organised by the Loch Ness Centre in Drumnadrochit and a volunteer research team called Loch Ness Exploration. The organisation's Alan McKenna hoped the large-scale surface watch would inspire a new generation of enthusiasts. It's understood to be the biggest search for the monster since the Loch Ness Investigation Bureau studied the waters in 1972. It will involve technology not previously used before. But researcher Mr. Halliday, who has published books including The A to Z of Paranormal Scotland and Scotland's X-Files, has warned that plans could backfire. He added, "The truth is there's little evidence that we're dealing with a flesh and blood creature. It's more likely that the loch is home to an unknown spirit form." Paul Nixon, he might not have done that scary voice. I just like doing it. Paul Nixon, general manager of the Loch Ness Centre, said, "The watch is designed to be observational and not invasive. The loch is home to a whole host of wildlife, and it's very important this does not become disturbed. While we appreciate the offer of psychic protection, we are confident our robust safety procedures will ensure a positive weekend for all involved in what will be the largest surface level search for Nessie in over 50 years." So once again, people are devoting their time to search for something that there's very little evidence actually exists.
So is this a whirlpool of evil?
Well,
it's going to be...
I think Mr. Halliday's contention is that all the various sightings, and for those people at home, they can't see me, I'm holding up the quotation marks, fingers of the Loch Ness Monster, is in fact some unknown spirits sort of casting a shadow and making the water ripple and doing all the things that people tell lies about when they claim to have seen the Loch Ness Monster. And if it's recorded on drone camera, it could stir up a whirlpool of evil. It could be the end of the world.
So it's like the River of Slime in Ghostbusters 2.
It sounds exactly like the River of Slime in Ghostbusters 2. Yes, exactly that.
So Nessie is Vigo the Carpathian, effectively.
Yeah. And
is that command me, Nessie? Is that what we're kind of saying here?
Yeah. So. That would make Ron Halliday maybe like Egon, maybe perhaps. He's not.
Maybe
he's not fun enough to be like Peter or Ray, and obviously he's white, so he can't be Winston.
But then you remember in Ghostbusters 2, it is heavily implied that Egon has fucked the slime.
Yes.
So are you saying that this gentleman has had sexual relations with this whirlpool?
He's maybe rattled the murky waters of Loch Ness, perhaps. No idea. I've forgotten all about that. I have not seen Ghostbusters 2 for a long time, because if I'm being really honest, I know that you and our mutual friend love Ghostbusters 2. For me, I've never really been as fond of it as you guys. I much prefer the first one.
I prefer the first one, but I love Ghostbusters 2. Yeah. It just holds many happy memories for me, I think, and I do still enjoy it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the first one, but it's fun. But yeah, there is heavily implied that Egon has sex with the slime before jamming it in a toaster to dance to Jackie Wilson. So what's he basically saying? Just don't bother looking for Nessie.
Yeah, he's saying don't.
It's just gonna.
It's a potential veritable Pandora's box. Revelations. Sort of jump-starting, enticing, just messing with forces we don't understand, and we should just leave well alone.
So what do you think we should do? Should we keep looking, or just leave it alone?
I don't give a fuck. Whatever people can do. I'm happy for people to do whatever they like. Just crack on if you want. If you believe in a Loch Ness Monster and you want to devote your life to proving its existence, then good luck to you.
Well, there you go. That is the official line from the Culture Swally. If you want to have a look for Nessie, knock yourself out and go and do it. Just
fill
don't
your pockets.
Have sex with any slime.
Yeah, exactly. And don't have sex with Loch Ness itself, because the people who live in the banks won't appreciate it, frankly. So,
No, they've probably got enough of stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, probably a good idea.
Anyway, that's Ron Halliday and his Whirlpool of Evil. What's your next story this week?
My next story comes... I was about to say my next Ghostbuster. I don't know why I came out with that. My next story comes from Edinburgh Live, and this is from today. And it's about a family that have said that their night out at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, because obviously the Fringe is just finished. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just finished. Was ruined after a member of their party was thrown out of a show for telling their daughter it was brilliant. An Edinburgh mum, her partner, daughter, and her daughter's friend, who do not wish to be named, bought tickets to see Trainspotting at the Pleasance EICC. They attended the 8:45pm performance on Friday, August the 25th, on the recommendation of their daughter's friend, after going out for dinner together in the city. The mum, who is 60 years old, said that they were enjoying the show when her daughter's friend said the show was brilliant. She claims that out of nowhere, a cast member pointed to the male and said, "Out!" before he was frog-marched out of the venue at the hands of security. The woman said, "I bought the tickets for Trainspotting as a recommendation from my daughter's friend. I purchased 4 tickets for me, my partner, my daughter, and her friend to go to last night's performance. The show was excellent, and there was a lot of activity around us, with all the cast at points, either sitting or standing next to us in the second row. The main actor then stared at my daughter's friend and said, 'Out!' A security guard then came in and frog-marched him out. We thought it was a joke. My daughter said that all he had done was turn to her and said, "This is brilliant." We spoke to people sitting behind us and across from us, and when we were leaving, and they couldn't believe what happened. We spoke to the box office, and one of the managers there said to ask for a refund. But the manager just nodded politely and said nothing. I approached one of the actors, who said that he'd been warned. That's absolutely rubbish. Warned of what? I have been to many shows over the years and never experienced anything like this. So sad. It totally ruined our night. So, she's claiming that the guy just turned to her daughter and said, "Oh, this is brilliant," and then got thrown out. Yeah, that's, come on. That's not what happened. No. There's more to that than, it's like the story we had on last year, I think, was it the Jersey Boys?
Yeah.
When people were thrown out for singing along, and I think that went to court, I think, in the last couple of weeks, and I think it did find out that they'd actually assaulted staff at the theatre, these women that were thrown out. But this couple, well, this family, have just been thrown out for just saying this is brilliant. I mean, there's more to that than that. Come on, if the way they're talking about it, if the cast are kind of interacting with the audience in that way, they're not going to throw someone out for just saying this is brilliant.
No, I don't think so. I mean, and there has been a few stories that I've read when I've been doing research for the pod over the last few months, of people being asked to leave shows, not so much plays, but certainly these kind of jukebox musicals, because they sort of tended, or not jukebox musicals, but any type of musical that's the songs are well known from and people want to sing along and things. And by all accounts, stage casts are getting, they're quite sensitive about it these days. And to your point, this one, I imagine probably that this guy who's been chucked out has perhaps been a bit chatty throughout the show. I can't imagine like a cast member asking for someone to be removed just for saying one word, whether it was like in praise or in criticism of what was going on the stage. Just doesn't ring very true, does it?
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It stinks. It stinks to me. But there's another story that has just popped up, actually, as I was reading that out, from like now, as we're recording. And it's Scottish singing Kettle star sorry after performing inappropriate lyrics to families. So the singing Kettle star, and I'm not familiar with the singing Kettle, but it's Artie Trezy, yeah. He has apologised to families if they were left feeling offended by a change of lyrics in a legendary children's song. The entertainer was singing, he was singing, you can't shove your granny off a bus. But he changed the lyrics to, you can't get your granny off the drugs. And he's vowed never to utter those words again and said, I didn't sing the song, but I did recite 2 lines of it for adults in the audience. I thought the audiences would think that I condone drug taking and wasn't sympathetic to families who have to deal with those problems. Upsets me. 76 years old, and he's singing, you can't get your granny off of drugs. So it's been quite a wild week in Edinburgh in terms of people getting offended and thrown out. That's the Fringe for you, folks.
Well, what was it? It was Jerry Sadowitz last year. This year it's the guy from the Singing Kettle.
Well, it was Graham Linehan as well this year. That got banned. But the guy from the Singing Kettle, that's better actually. Yeah, you're right. Jerry Sadowitz and the guy from the Singing Kettle. That's not 2 people you would kind of put together, but maybe next year they can get a little Fringe act on the go.
Perhaps. So, I've got a quick game before we move on to a review of Series 3 of Guilt. So, way back at the inception of the podcast, we decided that we wanted to do some of the funnier news stories that seem to be quite particular to Scotland. And most of the time we've never struggled to find something. So I've trolled back through maybe almost 20 years of Scottish news headlines, and I've not prepared Nicky for this. I've not prepped him for it. All you need to do is tell me if the headline is Scottish news or false, basically. So I was going to call the game the news quiz, but then I remembered that Radio 4 have been doing the news quiz for years. I don't want to get sued off the BBC. Then I was going to call it the Mick News quiz, but then I thought, McDonald's, if they cared that much, could make life difficult for us. So I'm just going to call it the Scottish news quiz, okay? So I'm going to read you a few headlines, and I just want you to tell me if it's a true Scottish headline or if it isn't. So,
and now the ones that aren't true, have you just made these up, or they're news stories but they're not Scottish?
Well, that's for you. That's for you to determine. All right. Okay. Okay.
Right, okay.
So the first one is Falkirk man cuts off testicles for old firm bet.
I'm going to say that's true. Yeah, that's Scottish news.
It's false. It is a true story, but it was actually a Welsh rugby fan who said in the pub that if Wales couldn't beat England today, he would cut off his own bollocks, and then England beat them. So he went away and cut off his bollocks and came back into the pub with them in a little sandwich bag, apparently. So
Jesus, that's a bit too much, I think.
The Welsh care a lot about their rugby. What can I say? Next one then. Drunk man attacked house whilst holding genitals.
I'm just going to say that's true because it's true.
It's true.
When was this from?
Right, just make it up here. So this is...
how did he attack a house?
So, this was a man who he admitted causing a bizarre disturbance in West Lothian, in the village of Bridgend in 2014. He was seen shouting sexual and homophobic insults while hitting the doors and windows of a house, whilst, quotation marks, brandishing his private member.
Love Tina Turner.
Okay, next one then. Drunk passenger attacked plane crew with false leg.
Oh, Jesus. Right, what have I got? I've got 50-50 so far. I am going to go with that's true.
That is true. A flight from Tunisia to Scotland had to be diverted after a drunk passenger attacked cabin crew with her prosthetic leg. The woman demanded cigarettes and a parachute before slapping...
Give me 200 Regal and a parachute, please.
She slapped a young girl sitting next to her before unfastening her leg and swinging it at the flight attendants. So yeah, it's a shame. Okay, man caught pleasuring himself with pickle in public toilet.
I'm going to say that's false because just by the law of averages.
Yeah.
I've picked everyone as true so far, so I'm going to go with false.
Yeah, it is false. It did happen, but it didn't happen in Scotland. It happened in Florida, perhaps unsurprisingly. Okay, a couple more. Man gets 10 days in jail for punching swan.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's got to be true. It has to be.
It's not Scottish news. No, that happened in America. Okay, man seen running on motorway in tartan boxer shorts, naked.
Oh yeah, that's probably an everyday occurrence. I'm going to say that's true. Definitely,
yep, that's true. Scots teens arrested after mass gnome theft.
Now I think have I read about this? Yeah, I'm going to say that's true as well.
It is true.
I kind of feel bad. I'm saying that they're all true, but okay.
Yeah, it's true. It happened in Aberdeenshire in 2013. Two teenagers who had stolen more than 30 garden gnomes.
That's dedication. Cheryl Baker and Roy Castle would have been up for that.
A search of a car near Banff yielded a haul of garden sculptures, including a 2-foot statue of Urwilly and a gnome in a police uniform. Okay, and the last one, Scottish fish invented sexual intercourse.
No, I'm going to say that's false.
It's true. It's true.
Right. What?
Right, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
Did Adam and Eve not invent sexual intercourse?
So in October 2014, scientists managed to trace the history of vertebrate sexual intercourse to an ancient armoured fish that lived in the lochs of Scotland 385 million years ago. The first creatures to use this form of reproduction were the first jawed fish called Microbriacus Dickey, not making it up. It's completely true. Microbriacus Dickey.
I think they need to get in touch with your lad about the Loch Ness Monster and see what's going on there, because that's just, it's a whirlpool of hate and evilness.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So that's it. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Enjoyed that. Yeah, thanks very much. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Nice little end to the news. And who knew so much shite goes on in Scotland?
It might become a reoccurring thing. An occasional reoccurring thing.
I you know what? Yeah, I do have because I had one. It's funny that you'd mentioned that because I did a while ago come across this old news article, and I did think about should we do like retro news at some point, because this is from 2007, and it's just, I mean, the headline says it all. I'm not going to go into the article, but the headline is "Man Caught Trying to Have Sex with Bicycle." And I thought he was given 3 years probation. He was in Ayr, and because he got caught trying to have sex with a bicycle. So yeah, maybe we'll. I've spoiled that one now, but we can revisit that maybe at some point later on. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for that, Greg. Much appreciated. That was a wonderful little game. Okay, before we go into what we're going to be talking about today, let's have a little word from our sponsors. And our sponsors this week is Doric Skateboards, a skateboard brand created by Gary Kemp, whose main focus is to explore the people and culture of Aberdeen and the northeast of Scotland, and create designs that reflect life in that area. Doric Skateboards screen print their own decks in their studio by Gary's fair hand, and they produce some amazing designs over the years, including an Annie Lennox inspired board, a Robert the Bruce deck, and a Plenty of Pop deck inspired by the old Bonnar trucks that used to drive around Aberdeen delivering fizzy drinks. Doric Skateboards also replicate these amazing designs onto their clothing on 100% organic cotton tees, hoodies and sweatshirts, and you can fill your boots on stickers, pin badges and beanies too. Gary regularly collaborates with local artists to ensure that he brings the latest designs to the market, but always with a Doric twist, including the latest Northfield Tower design. So check out Doric Skateboards for yourself on doricskateboards.com and follow them on Instagram at Doric Skateboards to see the amazing designs on offer. And we're delighted to be able to offer you 15% off as listeners to this podcast. All you need to do is head to doricskateboards.com, have a look at the amazing decks, stickers, badges, hoodies, tees, everything they have on offer, and enter the promo code SWALLY. That's SWALLY, same as the name of this podcast, all in block capitals, and get your 15% off your order. That's doricskateboards.com, link in the description of this podcast.
Okay, so I picked Young Adam for the last episode, which means this episode is your turn to choose, and it's the first time that we've ever done something like this on the podcast where we've done every series. So why don't you introduce what we're talking about today?
Well, it's not the first time, Greg, because we did both series of the book group.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the first time. But on today's episode, I wanted to look at the third and final series of the Neil Forsyth darkly comic Scottish drama Guilt. As Greg mentioned, we covered Series 1 and Series 2 previously on episodes 36 and episodes 52 of the Culture Swally, available wherever you get your podcasts. Starring Mark Bonnar and Jamie Sives, Series 3 picks up a year after the end of Series 2, which saw Max heading to Chicago to join Jake, who had his own Scottish pub in the Windy City. Roy Lynch was last seen on the balcony with Teddy and is presumed to be dead, leaving his widow Maggie Lynch to take charge of the family business. Series 3 also sees the return of a whole host of characters from the previous two series, and early in episode 1, events lead to the brothers finding themselves back in Leith, but trying to avoid Maggie Lynch. So, Series 3 of Guilt came out in April of this year, 2023. We will be giving a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, probably Andy in Finland, if you haven't seen this yet, because I know it took a while to get Series 2, then I wouldn't recommend listening to this until you've seen it. So, Greg, obviously, it was your first viewing. How did you find Series 3 of Guilt?
Well, with Series 2, the first series of Guilt was just absolutely astonishingly good. You know, even it's by any measure, it's fucking brilliant. But but to come from the BBC and be such a clever and smart and sort of cool drama was pretty special. I thought the second series, I think it suffered a wee bit from not enough Jamie Ives, but this series If there was any sort of tiny disappointments about the second series of Guilt, I think this third series just fucking completely excels. You know what I mean? Absolves and excels. It's absolutely fantastic.
I've literally got written in my notes, this is better than Series 2, but not as good as Series 1. No. But you needed all of them to get to this stage.
Yeah.
And I think it's a complete package, and it's 12 episodes in total of just this incredible show. And I absolutely loved this third series. I agree. I thought Series 2 was okay, but not as good. I mean, there was some good kind of introductions. I think Teddy was a wonderful introduction, and I think I agree with you that Series 2 lacked a lot of Jamie Sives, but Eamon Elliott kind of stepped up in Series 2, if you know what I mean. He kind of became the main character along with Max in Series 2. But at least, you know, Jamie Sives is back kind of in full force in Series 3. And I thought Erin, Sarah Vickers' character in Series 2 was a brilliant addition as well. I mean, she kind of replaced Angie, really, as kind of the female character you needed. But I thought she was brilliant. And I really like Series 2, but it's not. Series 1 is, you know, kind of, you almost wish, I don't wish actually, I don't know where I'm going with that, but like Series 1 is just these 4 episodes of just absolute perfection. And if they'd left it at that, it would have just been probably one of the most perfect things. But even though now they've created 12, it's still, for me, genuinely one of my favourite shows of all time. Like I'm almost upset that it's over, but I kind of hope they don't do any more. But I could just sit and watch Max and Jake all day.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, the first series, those first 4 episodes in that first series, you know, we're getting to know the characters. You know what I mean? And I think what was good about that first series, like, especially with Max, you know, you sort of get to a point where you think you got Max figured out, and then he does something completely unsurprising that you weren't expecting. You know, by the time we get to this series, you know, we've spent 8 hours with Max, and you're sort of anticipating, because as much as he's the sort of anti-hero and in a lot of ways quite dislikable, you pull for him, you know. So you sort of, and it's all because Mark Bonnar is just so fantastic. It's, you know, so although you're never sure, although he says that he's trying to help Jake and he's trying to, you know, do this and do that, and he's doing all this for both of them and stuff, you still have that feeling that he's going to fuck Jake. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to fuck him, which sort of you know, we'll get to it, but it sort of makes like the last sort of 15 minutes or so of the last episode so rewarding, I think, as a viewer. But you know, it's just, you're just like, although you know that for Max to kind of win, it means that a lot of the other characters in it, some of whom you may like, some of whom you probably don't, and you're not meant to, are going to like lose in a big way. You're still like really rooting for him. Such a fantastic character.
Oh, he's just wonderful, and it's the one-liners, you know, he comes out with, and you know, he's a horrible man, and it's almost not a surprise. Within like the first 5 minutes of Series 3, you discover that he's screwing Jake over. And is taking out $300,000 like in loans against the pub in Jake's name, which means, you know, he's fucked. And he does say it was an investment, but later on he does admit that he was going to take the money for himself. But just an incredible character, and it is Mark Bonnar, I think, like 100%. In terms of the scene when they're in the airport, when they land back in Edinburgh, and he's speaking to the guy at passport control, and you know, when they get taken into the room, and then the guy comes back and he's like, "Oh, you're right, we've got no jurisdiction over this stuff." And Max goes, "Ah, well, you look very smart in your uniform." And it's just like, it was just an absolute condescending kind of way that he goes down, and he's just got so many incredible lines. You know, the other one that just I was in hysterics, and I think it's in episode 3. Spoiler alert: they kind of end up later on at Sheila's house from series 1. Yeah. And when Jake's looking out at the road and he's going, "How can that road not speak to you?" And Max goes, Because it's a road. It's just... But like the interaction he has, well, with his dad, we'll come to later. But yeah, I mean, Max is just possibly one of the greatest characters that's kind of been created. He's just such a dick, but you kind of can't help but root for him as well. Like you like him, you know, when he's getting out of things and worming his way out of issues and stuff. It's just like you're like, yes, come on, Max, come on. It's he's just a likable character, really.
And the thing, I mean, I suppose it's the sort of hallmark of any well-written and well-conceived drama. You know, like I know Neil Forsyth is sort of been vocal about the fact that he doesn't intend on doing any more, and this is very much the end. That said, you are left wondering, you know, with Max when he comes to Erin's house. And we hear the cry of the little baby and stuff. And you're just like, you kind of need to know, you know. Like, we might never know, and we probably won't, because Neil Forsyth has said that's it. But you're sitting thinking, you need to know, how is he going to react to that? You know what I mean? Because he's, you know, like, of all the people that he's interacted with in the whole 3 series, there's definitely something between him and Erin. She's the only one that he's not used to try and, you know, or put into like a difficult situation or something to try and get what he wants. And now he's got this possibility at the very end, you know, to sort of step up and be a family man and have a life with Erin. It's like, what does he do? You know, like, part of me thinks that he gets up and, you know, when the cameras stop rolling, he gets up and fucking runs for the hills. But another part of me thinks that this is what he needs, because, you know, we hear a lot about Max and Jake's childhoods and being raised by their mum, who had mental health issues, and being abandoned by their father and everything. And, you know, now here's Max, and he's got the opportunity to be a father to this little baby. You know, is he finally going to do the right thing and sort of turn his back on all these fucking shenanigans and schemes and stuff, or is he just going to run for the hills and do what his father did? You know,
I don't know. I think you've hit upon a very good point there, Greg. I didn't really think about, but you're right. Like at the end of series 2, effectively Max siphons all the money away from the Lynches and gives it to Erin, and he tells her the truth about her real father. And you're right, she's the only person he hasn't really screwed over. He gave her, he could have taken that money probably and fucked off, but he did the right thing. And you're right, you could see in his face, I mean, obviously it's episode 4 when kind of Erin's reintroduced, but when she walks into Leith Legal and you see Max's face, it's pure just delight, and he's terrified, but he's also just so happy to see her. And obviously she's left Edinburgh. She's living in Dundee, which apparently offers more than you think.
I had an idea, Erin, of who I am, where I came from, who I came from, and it turns out that some of that was wrong, and maybe all of it's wrong, but that it's not a road that I can go down right now. Soon, maybe, but not now.
Now is where things happen, Max.
Where can I find you when I'm ready?
Dundee.
Dundee?
It offers more than you think.
Jeez. You know, but you could just see the kind of the excitement in his face when he sees her. And you're right. I in terms of the way it ends, I don't want to know. I'm happy to leave it at this.
Yeah.
But I hope that he kind of gives it a go.
Yeah.
But I'd be happy to just kind of I mean, let's just end it.
Because, you know, at the end of series 2, like, as you've just described, you know, he's stolen this money from the Lynches. He's given it to her, but then he sort of escapes to Chicago to go and he goes to Jake. And you think, well, you know, he's just done this like uncharacteristically selfless thing for this woman that he cares about. And, you know, you think, well, you know, now here he is off to reunite with his brother. Maybe he's turned over a new leaf But then, we find out in the first sort of 5 minutes of the first episode that he's not turned over a new leaf at all. He's the same sort of frustrated, scheming, crafty guy that we meet in episode 1 of the first series.
So, Jake's Pub, did you like the fact that they had a beer called Yaraj?
I did like it.
On the... I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, it's really funny. And, just that little, those little bits of attention to detail as well. You know what I mean? That you sort of thinking you miss it.
Yeah.
It's sort of got Neil Forsyth all over it.
But it's the little bit, I mean, even, in the first few minutes, you have, the Yaraj, and then you've got the bit with Jake with 500 fezzes in his flat. And he's like, and it's the little attention to detail where Max is like, whoever thought Turkish night would be a good idea?
Turkish Mondays.
Like Turkish Mondays, that was it, sorry. Like, I know about the fezzes. It's like, what the fuck?
I've got some ideas.
Are these ideas of a similar quality to Turkish Mondays?
Turkish Mondays, as a premise, was essentially flawless.
I know about the fezzes, Jake. I found the invoice. Do you, a grown man, currently live with 500 fezzes?
Why would you have a Scottish bar in Chicago and have a Turkish Monday night? Like, it's, very strange. It reminded me of my fez, because I used to wear a fez.
Did you? Was I around when you were in? I don't remember you wearing a fez.
Yeah, I used to, when I worked at TGI Fridays.
Of course.
Because you had to wear a ridiculous hat or some sort of hat, and I decided I'd wear a fez because it was like probably the smallest kind of hat, and I could wear it at the back of my head.
Yeah.
And at that time, Aberdeen had a couple of Moroccan players as well. So I bought a cheap fez and wore that. So yeah, I used to have a fez, but I didn't do any Turkish Mondays at TGI Fridays though.
I mean, I suppose that sort of brings us nicely over to Jamie Sives as Jake. I mean, as a character, he just seems like the unluckiest guy because he's such a nice guy, and he's clearly got a good heart and everything, and he's a wee bit hapless, but he's sort of shackled to his brother, who is the complete opposite in every way. His brother's intelligent, crafty, a bit of a sociopath. Then you got Jake rather, who's the other side of the coin, open, nice guy. And just every time like when Angie leaves him at the beginning of that first episode, you're just like, really? Does he deserve that just for buying a load of fezzes?
Yeah, such a lovely guy. Everyone likes him. Everyone gets on with him. And just such a likeable character. And you're right. And he's just got some great... As much as Max has comedic moments, Jake's got quite a lot as well. When he is chatting to Eliza, the American woman, she's always referred to as just the American woman. Yeah. But her name is Eliza. When he's chatting to her in the hotel bar, and she's just like, what the fuck is this? And it's hilarious, the interaction. And later on, when he's like, well, what did you chat about? So, just aubergine stuff. It was fucking brilliant. I mean, Jamie Sives is just, he's an incredible, the comedy. Did you know Jamie Sives and Mark Bonnar have known each other since they were 11 years old?
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I only found that out yesterday, actually. Right. I watched an interview Mark Bonnar was on this morning with Holly and Phil.
Right.
It was because it was back in April when Phil was still there. And they spoke about Jamie. Yeah, they've known each other since they were 11.
Wow.
And they've kind of they weren't like proper close, but they knew each other. Yeah. And then as the years developed, they kind of got closer. But and I think. I wonder if that helps in terms of their interaction with the two of them, because you really do believe that they've known each other for years when you see them together. So I can only presume that has helped.
Yeah,
in terms of
chemistry,
their characters.
Yeah, and I think the last thing did we do Filth before we did Series 2 of Guilt, or after? I think we did it after, right?
No, I think we did Filth first before. I think,
right. But I mean,
maybe
the sort of contrast in characters between.
Oh no, sorry, you mean Crime?
Crime, yeah, not Filth. Sorry, Crime. Yeah.
No, we did Crime after Series 2. Yeah. So yes, It's the contrast of characters of because he's Doogie Gilman, isn't he? Yeah,
I mean, he's got Doogie, one of the sort of most reprehensible sort of characters in any drama, to playing Jake, who you just love to sit and have a pint with and talk about records and stuff. Sit at the bar and pass a couple hours talking about music and have a few beers, maybe go out behind the pub and share a joint, He's a fantastic actor.
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, you're right. Doogie Gilman is just absolutely brilliant character in crime. And you're right, it's such a polar opposite in terms of the character of Jake. And I think Jake obviously came as a surprise, kind of episode 2. They like at the end of episode 1, they kind of go in the only place that they can go, which Jake doesn't know. And I was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of spoiled it for me because I was watching the opening credits of episode 2 as it's coming up, and obviously it comes up with the actors' names, and then it came up with David Heyman. And I was like, David Heyman isn't in Guilt, or he hasn't been in it so far. So when they turn up and it turns out that that's their dad, I was like, okay. So it was kind of slightly spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of thinking, well, kind of logically, that's going to be the only kind of character it could be. But, well, could have been someone else. But, a welcome addition to the cast, I think, as well, in terms of David Heyman.
Yeah, and the thing about David Heyman, I've got a DVD. I had to find it with a load of sort of Scottish plays for today, and there's one that we've not done on the Swally by Peter McDougall called Just Your Luck. I think it's one of the first ones he did, and it's about a Protestant girl in Glasgow getting pregnant by and then getting married to a Catholic boy played by David Heyman. So David Heyman's supposed to be like a young 18-year-old boy in this play, but it's one of those faces where he's always looked middle-aged and upwards. You know what I mean? He's got a sort of well-travelled, because Indiana Jones says it's not the age, it's the mileage. You know what I mean? It's like he's absolutely super in this, and I'm the same as you. When I saw his name in the credits, I thought, right, it's going to be a pivotal part that he plays. If I'm being honest, I hadn't counted on him playing Max and Jake's dad. I thought he might be sort of Roy Lynch's revenge-seeking brother or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. That would have probably been the other thought would have had. But yeah, brilliant actor, obviously, and then a great kind of role that he plays in terms of he does look after Max and Jake and gives them some money.
Yeah,
and kind of makes maybe peace.
Yeah.
With them. I don't know. Max shakes his hand at the end. As Jake says, he didn't really know him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have issues with him at all. It's Max that has the issues with him. So I think that was, something that kind of maybe was a bit cathartic for Max to be able to kind of resolve something.
Yeah. Doesn't make him a better person. And,
no.
Sorting out his issues with his father, sadly. But yeah, definitely.
No, of course not. Yes, no, definitely not. And then, of course, Eamon Elliott back as Kenny, who is just a fantastic character, but kind of has a bit less to do in this season, really. I think you really see that in season 2, he effectively replaced Jake. And then now Jake's back, he's pushed to the side a bit.
Yeah.
And, most of his interactions really are with Teddy.
Yep. And Yvonne.
Or with Yvonne, yeah.
It's maybe that's something that it could be criticised maybe a little bit for in this one, because in the first series, we had Jake and Max and Angie the bit later on, and a couple other sort of characters, so Stevie, the kind of corrupt policeman. But by the time we get to the third series, we've got a lot of characters. There's the whole story with Skye, who turns out to be Kenny's niece. We've got what Yvonne's going through and, her investigation into the Lynches. We've got what's going on with Stevie and his sort of fall from grace and the police force and all that sort of stuff. They try to, it's, the kind of bulk of the storyline is sort of shown by what's happening with Max and Jake. But, I think sometimes when shows put in too many characters like that, it can sometimes, you end up missing a bit of, like in this instance, it's Kenny, like a character that we've enjoyed so much in the first two series. We don't get to see him. I mean, he does get his sort of requisite pasting. He seems to get in each of the series, although I don't know if he did in series 2 actually, but obviously in the first series he gets a shit kicked out of him by some of the Lynch's guys, and then in the third series, unfortunately, Teddy gives in to his instincts and his motivations, and he ends up in the hospital, and we think that maybe Kenny's time's up,
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. There are kind of maybe too many characters involved, and I think they kind of maybe needed to do it because it's the third series, and it is almost like a greatest hits in terms of some of the characters that come back, and I'll speak about a couple later on. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I mean, you don't really care that much about the bank deal or the drug dealers and the kids. Yeah. And you just want to see Max and Jake. But they are kind of integral to the storyline because it revolves around Maggie Lynch and it revolves around the money and how they're going to get out of this in the end. But I'll be honest, as much as I thought the Sky was a brilliant actress played by Amelia Isaac Jones. Yeah. I thought she was great.
She's great. Yeah.
But in terms of her drug dealer boyfriend and stuff, I didn't even really know his name.
No,
if you know what I mean. In terms of, I think I did write it down somewhere, but I can't even bloody find it. But you don't really know his name because it's never really introduced. And I realise he's the link between the Lynches and Sky, and then therefore Kenny, and then therefore Max and Jake, and obviously the bank deal. So it is all interlinked and involved. But I'm kind of just give me some more time with Max and Jake, or give me some more time with Max, Jake, and Sheila as well. Yeah. Because when they turn up at Ellie Haddington's door, I genuinely burst out laughing, and I was like, yes, this is fucking brilliant. I can't believe they've gone here. And the way they're talking about her, and I think Max refers to her at one point as like the old witch downstairs and stuff. But it's so incredible to have her back, and with Erin coming back as well, and it very much is like a total greatest hits of the first few series, the first two series, kind of combined of Guilt. They've kind of made sure that everyone has kind of come back, which is great.
Yeah. And I'm still raging with IMDb because Ellie Haddington, despite having a lot more credits to her name than most of the younger cast in Guilt, still doesn't have a photograph in her profile.
Which is absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Also, we've got Yvonne, the police officer, Kenny's partner. Did you notice it was a different actress?
I did notice that, yeah. It's, this time it's Isura Barbie Brown, as opposed to Rochelle Neal in the last one. Do you know why Rochelle didn't come back for it?
I think she was in something else, wasn't she?
I'm not sure.
She was unable to come back.
All right.
Oh, right. I thought you were...
No. No, I was just... I found out.
I did read, I think it was Film and Commitments, about something that she wasn't able to come back. But again, another character, okay, she is kind of needed because she is the police perspective, and obviously Stevie's been demoted, so you kind of need that police aspect in terms of being able to take down the Lynches.
But also, I was really pleased to see that her and Kenny were still together, because Kenny, in the first series he's an alcoholic, and then he becomes a recovering alcoholic, and in the second series he's sort of really getting his act together. He's set up his own agency and everything else, and he meets Yvonne and all that. So to see them still together and living together in the third series, I was like, good for you, Kenny. It's kind of what you want. He's a bit like Jake. He's one of probably the two hearts of the show. So you want him to things to work out for him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, it was good to see that they're still together and obviously wanting to try for a kid. And I guess they're going to, well, if she does leave the police force, then
Gonna go to business.
we're going to set up Leith Legals together and go into business, which would be wonderful.
Maybe a
for Ken.
spin-off show there, maybe. Leith Legals.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Neil Forsyth. I'm sure you're not.
And well, no, listen to our episode on
he did actually, yeah.
Bob Servant.
did,
So
yeah.
yeah. And then I think Phyllis Logan as Maggie Lynch just absolutely knocks it out the park in this series. She is just astounding. Like, she's so good.
Yeah, she's brilliant. And the character is just fucking horrible. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, there's nothing redeeming about her whatsoever. Even the scene that she has with Erin, you know, the sort of kind of heart to heart. You know, even in that, you know, she's not looking for reconciliation with her daughter. You know, her complete focus is getting her money out of this bank deal and sailing off into the sunset.
Well, it's exactly what she says. Like, I'm going away. She doesn't really ask. All she really says to her is, like, you're in Dundee. Well, I suppose it's better than Glasgow, but don't know if I agree with. But although with Dundee, it does offer more than you think. So yeah, but just a horrible character in terms of the Maggie Lynch, just all on her own, doesn't really give a shit. Even when Roy gets shot and they hear the gunshot, she's just kind of like, oh well, that's kind of, you know. I know, you know, he's dead. That'll be it.
You sort of get the impression that it's something that she's been preparing herself for years. You know, given the nature of the business that Roy's in and that she's in. You know, again, it's so well conveyed by her. It's like the moment that I've been waiting for is here, you know?
And I think that's one thing that this series does really well, and it is the strong female characters, and especially the older strong female characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got Maggie and Sheila, and okay, they're both evil, effectively, because, you know, Maggie is effectively this big kind of drug lord, crime boss, and then Sheila is just this kind of black widow that goes and rips off old men that are coming towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, carpet bowls? It's more exerting than you'd think. She says about the current guy that she's seeing. But yeah, I think they do it really well in terms of this older, strong female characters. And I think you need, you know, more of that in terms of what we're seeing in TV and film today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and the thing is, if you look at both Ellie Haddington and Phyllis Logan's IMDb's, you know, they're both of them are vast in terms of credits, but there's no lead roles really. You know, I mean, and arguably this isn't really a lead role for Ellie Haddington. It's very much a supporting role, but I suppose you say the same about Phyllis Logan as well. But you know, it feels like it's one of the leads because, you know, the whole story of it revolves around what's going on with the Lynches and her in her sort of new position as head of the organisation. But then, you know, if you scroll through, it's all sort of small parts, like one episode of Taggart, one episode of Downton Abbey, a Doctor Who, a this or that. You know what I mean? It's not or like a short-lived sitcom. You know, it's great to see an actress like her and like Ellie Haddington get parts like these ones that Neil Forsyth has written, because totally unpredictable characters, you know, completely unpredictable.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen next with them, you know, especially, I mean, Sheila, if you think back to the first series, you know, it kind of comes out of the blue. In fact, it's a beautiful reveal when, you know, Mac's at the door and, you know, she's like, I saw you. I know what happened.
Yeah.
And as I say, when she opens the door, when they're turn up at her house in series 3, I genuinely was just delighted of just like, oh God, it's, you know, and when, you know, she's negotiating of, you know, $5,000 a night and you'll pay for the petrol, and then it goes up to $6,000 a night. It's, she's just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic character and wonderful actress as well. So yeah, really was delighted to see her back in this.
And then, of course, the inimitable Greg McHugh as Teddy, again showing incredible versatility. If you think about some of the stuff that we've seen him in over the years, obviously I guess he's going to be the most famous for, at the moment anyway, for Gary Tank Commander. But then, he's rolling fresh meat. They've got the pilot of Two Doors Down. He's just done a really successful, I think they've done 2 series of it, a drama on BBC Two, or maybe even BBC One, about, it's sort of all to do with autism, and he plays Chris Eccleston's sort of estranged son. I think he does a Manchester accent. I think I saw a little bit of it. But apparently it's really good, and apparently it's got a really good Brit poppy soundtrack as well.
Oh, okay.
I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, but I suppose I could just quick look here.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic actor. As you say, like everything you've just mentioned there is so different in every role.
Yeah.
In terms of, Gary, the character he is in the Two Doors Down pilot. Howard in Fresh Meat is just an absolutely fantastic really character.
Yeah.
But then to play Teddy, who is just this absolute psychopath. And it's so funny in terms of, you never see Teddy hit anyone.
No.
Or you never see him do anything, but everyone is just terrified of him. And the way that, Kenny is just absolutely terrified whenever he comes in. And even when he's just standing there with a bike and they stop in the car and Max is absolutely shitting himself.
Yeah.
And comes out and speaks to him. Beautiful interaction. And I think, Teddy's just such a wonderful character. He's just brilliant in terms of this. And Greg McHugh is just absolutely fantastic in this role. Really, really wonderful.
I mean, it's the fact that they don't show Teddy actually committing any acts of overt violence. I mean, the closest we get to it is when he sort of when he takes Kenny by the throat. That's the closest we get to him actually seeing him doing anything. And it's just absolutely brilliant. Although I did wonder where he got the old Skoda from that he drove up to David Heyman's in.
Yeah, and listening to some good old Rangers tunes as well when he was driving that. But as I say, he's not much of a driver, so he says. But then he was obviously able to navigate that motorbike as well that he nabbed because he was able to drive it there. So, and of course, we have the kind of the other main side kind of storyline is this bank deal that's going on, which I say is Stuart Porter as Jim McLean, Ewan McNaughton as Sir Jim Sturrock.
Yeah.
And then we have, and again, she's just kind of referred to as the American woman.
Jim McLean. Old Dundee manager. United.
Did I say Jim McLean?
You did.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, but Jim Sturrock.
You corrected yourself, but just wonder why he said Jim McLean.
Oh, well, Jim McLean's, there is a character called Jim McLean.
There is. Stuart Porter.
In this, because I've copied, So, the Eliza, she's only ever really referred to as the American woman, American girl, but she's here to try and get this bank deal through, which and she gets embroiled obviously with the brothers and everyone else because they end up, well, not kidnapping. It's not a kidnapping. Can everyone stop saying kidnapping? Is kind of the scene goes.
So now you're going to kidnap me?
Well, we don't have to. We have something you want badly enough to stay here for. I just need you to sit there until you can tell me how we both win.
How is that not a kidnapping?
Because it's for your own good.
It feels like a kidnapping.
That's not helpful.
I'm not doing a kidnapping.
If you lot don't want to do a kidnapping, the first step would be to stop calling it a fucking kidnapping.
Well, yeah, she kind of, interesting character. And again, another okay, was this really needed? But I don't know, as you say, it's almost like too many characters in this.
Yeah, I think we need her to sort of navigate the intricacies of the banking deal for us. You know what I mean? As the audience, you know, I think we sort of needed that. You know, why she had to be American and all that, I don't know. I guess it's a choice that they made, but she is good in it. You know, to your point, yeah, maybe she is one character too many, but she's certainly very, very good.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed her performance, and I enjoyed seeing her on screen as well, because she's very lovely. But yeah, kind of like, well, you know, again, like as we've spoken about, it's kind of like, right, if there's anything to do with the bank deal or the drug dealers, it's kind of like, can we just get back to like Max and Jake, please? I kind of want to just see them, or Kenny, you know. Yeah. I kind of want to spend time with these characters. But don't get me wrong, I thought, you know, they were great, and I thought that everything happened for a reason and kind of led to the conclusion in the end. But I agree with what we were speaking about earlier in terms of maybe there were slightly too many characters.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Frankie Miller's the best white singer since Elvis?
That's quite a subjective opinion. I mean, he's definitely up there.
Jake thinks he's 16th at best, is what Jake says, but David Heyman is adamant that Frankie Miller is the best white singer since Elvis.
The thing is, David Heyman probably knows Frankie Miller. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah. Well, yeah, he would do. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely would do. I think what strikes it for me is and this is why I don't want a fourth series of Guilt. I would love a fourth series of Guilt, but I don't want one because the ending is just so beautiful, and it's because they use Backwards Walk by Frightened Rabbit.
Yeah.
And just as soon as that starts jangling, I'm just like, oh my God. And it's just so beautifully done in terms of that. I absolutely love that song, you know, and I love Frightened Rabbit. And just the beautiful, it's not often, you know, you see a song used so perfectly.
Yep.
And I think it's just used so beautifully in that. And I'd be very happy to just kind of end it on that.
For sure.
If you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And let's see what happens. You know, there were the sort of two threads left dangling. The one that we spoke about earlier, when Max goes to errands and finds out that he's a father, and there's the very quick scene when Sheila turns up at David Heyman's door.
Yes.
You're like, well, what's going to happen here? You know.
Well, he's obviously he's got his pension from his injury, so he deserves a little bit of company if that's what's going to happen. Yep. Even if she is going to just fleece him, but he's not. You know,
he's savvy though. He's
healthy enough. Yeah. He's out fishing every day and healthy enough. So,
but there's not a scene between David Heyman and Mark Bonnar when David Heyman says, you know, that you're a lot like me. You know, which makes me think, well, is Sheila going to be able to get one over on David Heyman? You know what I mean? Because he's not like some unsuspecting old fella. You know?
Yeah. I think that's when he's speaking to him, I think your mother always said you were like me. Yeah, true. Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe she won't be able to get one over on him then.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see.
Wait and see. So, anything else on season 3 of Guilt? Should we go through our awards?
The only thing I would say as well, in terms of I did like and they've been very clever in terms of the way they've divided this in terms of, you know, you're not in Edinburgh anymore, you're in Leith.
Yeah.
Different rules apply. Yeah. And it's very much, Leith is just this separate area from Edinburgh. Yeah. And it's different, you know, I guess it's like, I don't know, Cumbernauld and Glasgow type thing, you know, time of year. But yeah, I did like that when Sky's mum had made Eliza, you know, I've done you a Lorne sausage, and she said she's vegetarian. And when Sky says to her, you know, you're not in Edinburgh anymore, you're in Leith. Yeah. Different rules apply. So yeah, I thought it was kind of good the way they and Maggie and Jim. That's kind of a bone of contention in terms of, you know, you're not from Leith, you're from Edinburgh. So it's very much Leith is the kind of where the linchpin of it. If you
Irvin Welsh does quite a lot of that in his books, like especially his books with the Trainspotting characters. You know, like the 4 or 5 books that there are. You know, the characters consider Edinburgh and Leith to be separate entities. You know, like Leith isn't part of Edinburgh. It's, you know, it's like it's an adjacent community, you know, in its own right.
Well, yeah, let's put it through the Swally Awards. What have we got first, Greg?
Okay, as always, the James Cosmo Award for being in everything Scottish. I've given this to 2 actors here, so I've gone with Hayward and Haddington. What about you?
I've gone with Haddington and Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, Heyman would probably be up there as well. I think. Yeah, you could probably do a 3-way tie.
Yes, 3-way tie. Yes,
because Logan's been in a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to go with that, I think, definitely.
Okay, the Bobby the Barman Award for Best Pub.
Well, it's only 2, really, isn't there? There's Jake's Pub, and then there's the hotel bar that they're in. But, I mean, Jake's Pub, I'd fucking love to go there.
All day, every day.
Great.
Yeah, it looks brilliant. I mean, and it's obviously that pub is somewhere in Scotland. There's no way they've gone all the way to America just to film those scenes.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah.
So maybe we could get to that.
Need to find out, actually. Yeah, I need to find out where that is, actually. That's a great idea. Yeah, I'd love to go there. It looked like a brilliant pub.
Yeah. Next then, the Jake McQuillan Your Teazoot Award.
Poor old Johnny Watson being thrown over the balcony. Which, you know, we didn't even strike upon Jonathan Watson's little cameo in this, which is kind of in it for a few minutes. But I don't know, there's not a lot. Like we said, a lot of the violence is off screen.
Yeah.
In terms of when someone's getting assaulted or dunted. I mean, I kind of, Teazoot, you could kind of say, I was going to actually pick Max getting his comeuppance at the end.
Right.
Which we kind of haven't really spoken about, actually, in terms of, you know, Jake taking the money, effectively. But then it's not really a Teazoot because he then goes to Erin and his baby, so it's not really a Teazoot. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of went with Johnny Watson being thrown over the balcony.
He goes for the happy ending he didn't know that he wanted. You know?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go for Johnny Watson. I went for the execution of Stevie because it's you know, in a series which a lot of the violence is implied or off screen. That it was quite shocking. You know, where they can see this front room. You know, just, you know, we've seen people get shot in the head on TV about 1 million times, but just because there's nothing in any of the episodes as violent as, like, even when Lynch gets shot in the first episode, we don't see it. We see him lying on the ground after being shot, but we don't physically see it. So it was quite
yeah, you're right.
It was quite jarring for a moment or two to see poor old Stevie getting his brains blown out.
Yeah, you're right, actually. No, you're spot on there. Yeah, that was quite a sad moment as well. Yeah. It's a shame. You kind of like Stevie. Yeah. He was a bit of a dick in obviously previous series, but he kind of was trying to redeem himself. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame.
Yeah. So the next one then, I don't think there is any. The Ewan McGregor Award for nudity. Nothing really, is there?
Nah, there's not. We had enough on the last episode, Greg, so we're done. We're done for I think that's our quota for the next 6 months of podcasting in terms of that.
We're still recovering from young Adam. And then I'm going to need your help with this one because, I didn't note anything down when I watched it, but the Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing.
There's a few. There's not really gratuitous, but in terms of best use of swearing, there are a few, right. But my favourite one was when Maggie Lynch is speaking to Jim and he's saying how he's from Leith. And she says, you're from Edinburgh and you fucking know it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just kind of a put down. And then, again, the other choice I had was Maggie Lynch. I can't remember the exact term she uses, but she does say, I think it's in episode 4, I run this fucking city.
Yeah.
Or I own this fucking city. So yeah, I gave it to that. But yeah, I gave it to the you're from Edinburgh and you fucking know it. Just the disdain in her voice of, you're not from fucking Leith, you're from Edinburgh.
And then archetypal Scots moment.
What did you go for this?
So it's always puzzled me why the rest of Scotland has such disdain for the Kingdom of Fife. I've never really worked it out. But there's a line where I think Maggie says, you always want Fife in your rearview mirror. And I was like, well, why does Fife get roasted so much? In Bob's Servant, they roast Fife as well. And so for me, there's something quite Scottish. I guess not if you live in Fife, but for the rest of the country, there's something quite Scottish about just habitually roasting Fife at every opportunity.
Yeah, I guess it's just the Neil Forsyth trait then, isn't it?
Yeah,
in terms of
maybe
roasting on Fife.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you go for?
I went for the... I think it's in the second episode when Jim is speaking to all of the American visitors for the bank, and they're drinking whiskey. And he says, we'll go to Edinburgh Castle, we'll get around a golf.
Yeah.
He might as well have said, we'll go and get some shortbread, get some haggis,
a tablet,
get some bagpipes, get a kilt. Let's just do it all. But I went for that. Either that or Jake having Yaraj as his beer.
I seem to recall somebody early on in the first series saying Disco Yaraj as well, which made me laugh. I know they said it. And then last one then, Sean Connery Award. Who won the show for you?
This is the toughest one. I went with Mark Bonnar in terms of series 1 and 2.
Right.
And I've got Mark Bonnar for this as well. But I really want to give Phyllis Logan a shout.
Yeah.
In terms of her performance, but I'd kind of decided I was going to give it to Phyllis Logan, and then watching it again to make my notes, I'm like, how can I look past Mark Bonnar? His performance is just so good. It's the quips, the one-liners, the facial expressions. Every emotion he's going through just by looking at his face.
Yeah.
But then you also don't know what the character is going to do next, and he's just it's just masterful. Like, genuinely one of the greatest characters ever created. I
really love that sort of self-satisfied smile that he does when something works out. He's, it's if sharks could grin, I feel like that's what they would look like. They would look like they would look like Max.
But you know what? There was the way he bounces off of anyone he's on screen with. When he's with Ellie Haddington, just bounce off. And David Heyman, that one of my favourite lines of the show was when Max and David Heyman are having a chat when he's come downstairs and they're speaking late at night, and he points at the cross and he says, "Did you get that out of a cracker?"
Yeah.
And David Heyman says, "No, I tried it for a while. I went to confession." And Max says, "That must have taken a while." And Heyman, quick as a flash, goes, "Yeah, we had to stop for lunch."
Did you get that on a cracker? I gave it a go. Confession. That must have taken a while. We had to stop for lunch.
The back and forth, he just seems to get out of everyone. The scenes with Ellie Haddington are just phenomenal. Yeah. And with Phyllis Logan as well. And anyone he's on screen with. But it's just the difference of the interaction. Like when he's on screen with Erin, you can actually feel the kind of sexual tension smouldering.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, just hug it out or do something. Yeah, you know what? It has to be Mark Bonnar.
Yeah.
Just absolutely won this series and won the show for me. He's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what comes up next for him, I'm just absolutely sort of tied his flag to the mast with this performance.
Well, he's working with Ridley Scott at the moment.
Oh, is this Napoleon?
In his next film,
the Napoleon film, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's not bad. So yeah, he's definitely doing well. So and good on him, because he fucking deserves it, because he's absolutely brilliant.
He is. Very good. I wonder.
Okay, well, I guess that wraps up Series of Guilt. So that was my choice on the podcast, Greg. So why don't you tell us what we're going to be looking at on the next episode of the Culture Swally?
Well, unfortunately, I need to take you out your comfort zone a wee bit and take you back to the turn of the 20th century for the next one. But it's a film, so I'm sure you'll be able to tough it out. And I've gone for the starring Gerald Butler and Peter Mullen 2018's The Vanishing, the movie based on the 1900 disappearance of the Flannan Isles lighthouse crew. Watched the trailer yesterday. with my daughter, and she said, "Oh, I quite like to watch that. I might watch that with you as well." So it could be a Swally first. My daughter actually watching something that we're reviewing on the podcast with me.
That was going to be one of my next picks on the Swally.
Sorry, mate.
It's all right. It's okay. I've already got my next pick sorted, but that was going to be probably my pick after.
Right. Okay.
So I haven't watched it, but yeah, I have watched the trailer, and funnily enough, I listened to a podcast the other week with a guy who I think had written a book about the actual disappearance. Spoiler alert, mind you, the film is called The Vanishing.
Yes, it is.
So it's kind of, he's written a book about The Vanishing. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to that episode. Actually, I'll try and find it. But yeah, fascinating story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward. It's it's Gerard Butler, Peter Mullen,
Connor Swindells.
Oh yeah, okay. Wonderful. Well, I will look forward to watching The Vanishing then. All right. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can. You can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com, and you can get in touch with any news stories you've seen you'd like to share, or if you've got any requests that you'd like us to cover, then you can get in touch with us on there. And you can follow us on the social media on Instagram at Culture Swally Pod, or on Twitter at Swally Pod. And Greg, we have a wonderful website as well, don't we?
Wonderful, but sadly a little neglected website, which needs my attention. But yeah, you can find us at cultureswally.com. There's links to all the episodes and a few features to read over while you're supposed to be at work, because they were written when I was supposed to be at work.
Fantastic. Well, it was wonderful to catch up with you. I would say, like, it's been the first time in a month, but obviously I saw you a couple of weeks ago, and well, I spoke to you a couple of nights ago. So but it's wonderful to catch up again on the Swally and get back into the spirit of things. So I hope this episode was okay. We might have been a little bit rusty because it was like a month that we'd had off, but you can join us next time for The Vanishing, and we'll be back to normal service.
Until next time.
See, when I look out there, it comes right back to me, Max. That decision that night.
Then don't look out there.
How can that road not speak to you?
Because it's a road.